Thank you for joining us this evening. Originally, when we planned this meeting, this was mainly to talk about AKMG to the new members. That's how we started. And I personally have not invited to come or attend any of the past presidents. So we just sent an email and sent WhatsApp messages. So if someone is upset that I didn't call them, please forgive me. That was not our intention to call everybody and make it a big meeting. This was meant to mainly introduce AKMG to new members, and if they have any questions to ask about AKMG, what we can do for them and what they can do for AKMG. That is the main intention. Having said that, I want to thank all the past presidents who are here with us, not only the past presidents and many AKMG seniors who have worked hard for many, many years to make AKMG better, brighter, and stronger. Thank you very much. We had many Zoom meetings this year. We had CME webinars, we had mentorship programs, thanks to Deepu. We had several entertainment programs. We had Zoom meetings to celebrate International Women's Day. And we've been active and working hard to make AKMG membership worthwhile. Main thing I want to talk for the next couple of minutes is about AKMG Atlanta Convention. It's going to be on August 13 and 14. It's going to be a 2-day event, not like the traditional 3-day event. It will be Friday evening with, we'll start with a procession. We want to keep the Onam theme in mind. After that, we'll have the opening ceremony and then fashion show, dinner. Then we'll have AKMG talent show or comedy, AKMG comedy or whatever we call it. Then Saturday morning, we'll start with breakfast, then we'll have 4 hours of CME. After that, we will have Onam lunch, followed by at 2 o'clock, we'll have the general body meeting, followed by something like a book release program for, we have several authors in AKMG. We are lucky to have so many literary people in AKMG. So they can showcase their books and try to promote their books. And evening we'll have the reception. Then we'll have the closing ceremony. And we will introduce Nigel as the new president, of course. Then we'll have gala dinner, followed by, we are fortunate to get Chitra committed with Nishat. They will be coming to entertain us. And Sunday morning, we'll have a brunch and farewell. So that is the plan. If you have any suggestions, everything is in the website, the program, the frequently asked questions, everything is in the website. So yesterday we got a news that we have the full ballroom with 600 people. So we have already registered 325 people. So we will try to register the other 300 people and have a big event. So if you have any friends and family, encourage them to join us. Registration is open, still $395 for 2 nights. The hotel is $159 per night. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. I'll be available on my cell phone, WhatsApp, email, whatever way you want to contact me. Thank you so much and enjoy the program. So you, Nigel, take over.
Thank you, Subrat.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Dr. Bhatt for being so well organized through the WhatsApp program, the emails and texts and so on. He has been communicating very well. And you have already gotten close to 100 sponsors, right? So convention will be, I have no doubt that this is going to be one of the best conventions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So if you're not speaking, kindly keep your microphones on mute. So initially when we planned this, as Dr. Bhatt mentioned, the idea was to get the new members to join us, and then it will be an open mic event where anybody can ask questions. Whoever the seniors who are joining the meeting will try and answer that. So before we go to the senior members and before we go to the past presidents, I want to just open this meeting free to anybody who is out there who is a more recent member, who's got questions and want to clarify things, want to bring in new ideas. If they have seen something in AKMG which they think can be made better with a different kind of approach, please, you're welcome to just unmute yourself, raise it here. It's free, and hopefully some of the senior members, some of us who've been with the organization for a little bit could try and address that and hopefully take some lessons from that too. So if there is anybody there.
Do you mind if I start?
No, not at all. Please go ahead, Theresa.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Theresa Varghese. I did my medical school in Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, and I graduated in November 2019. And I'm preparing for the match this upcoming cycle. I've been a part of AKMG for like a couple of months now, and I'm extremely grateful to have met Dr. Bhatt and Dr. Ravindranathan. It's been like, they've been very positive, and even though I was able to secure research and elective outside of AKMG, I do really appreciate the efforts they put in trying to help me find that, along with Dr. Sudhakar. So yeah, it's been a positive experience for me so far. And I had two ideas that I would love to hear everybody's inputs on. So the first one was about possibly having like AKMG merchandise for members to purchase. And that could be during the convention, or it could be year long. Like, depending on the interest, we could create like an order form so people can buy sweaters with the AKMG logo on it. They can buy hats, umbrellas, tote bags, you name it. Like, I've spoken to a couple of vendors, and based on the bulk order, they can tailor the price. And from what I've seen, they've created a lot of beautifully designed apparel and other items. So if people are interested, like, I can definitely look into organizing an order form and getting the inventory and doing a bulk order, either having it ready for the convention, or we could ship it out to people directly. And it's like a good memorabilia sort of thing. A lot of, like, one of the things I saw was like when Dr. Ravindranathan suggested that I look at the AKMG website and see our history. They kind of made a mention of it as being a medical fraternity. And so what better way to literally show everybody that we are part of this organization and what we represent. And it's something that's wonderful to just pass on to our family members and kids and grandkids as we go along as well. So that was the first idea. And that would be to purchase. It's based on whatever people like. The second idea was that through AKMG, I've seen that there's like research initiatives, women's health initiatives, like clinician initiatives, but there's like a growing rise of medical entrepreneurs. So I was wondering if people would be interested in a interest group for research, for innovation and biodesign. Basically what I was thinking is, through this interest group, we could have webinars with medical entrepreneurs and people who are familiar with that and experts in that field, and they can give these 1-hour talks or whatever, or these series where they can educate us on how to really create how to take an idea like a clinical solution and convert it to a product, to a prototype, to patenting, and even to the market for distribution. Because a lot of doctors nowadays are involved in that process. My brother and I are slowly kind of involved in it. We have a bioincubator at Manipal, so we're involved with that, and with other sort of bioengineering type projects. So it would be an educational opportunity for all of us. And then if an opportunity does arise for us to work collaboratively as a team, we could potentially create a product that could be useful not only in America, but in India. and serve different populations accordingly. So those were my two ideas, and I'm like open to hear everybody's input and feedback. And
Wonderful.
thank you again for this opportunity.
That is wonderful, Teresa, and thank you for taking so much interest in thinking through the ideas that you have. So I could maybe start answering some of them and then open it up to the others. So regarding merchandise, traditionally what happens is for every convention, the local convention team usually creates some, either it's a convention bag or it may be t-shirts. Different people may have different ideas. For example, in Ottawa we had, I think Nisha put that already in the chat, we had cups made with the AKMG logo and the location of the meeting. And we also had t-shirts where everybody could wear it and get group pictures. So,
Right.
so that was that's usually done with the meeting, but having an ongoing, like a store where people can directly order, that's a great idea, wonderful idea. And those ones could be a bit more expensive. Generally with the conventions you get very cheap ones, and
Exactly.
maybe you can use it once or twice and go, because you can't really spend much on these things, and then the registration fees will go really high up. So that's a great idea. Regarding the second one on innovation, wonderful. A lot of people don't think about that because it's not part of our traditional practice. It's only when you really get into either a solo practice or a group practice or something that you have your own business that you start thinking about it. But even then, innovation by design and design thinking, like what you have with the idea studio that made the Apple mouse in California, for example, that kind of an innovation and design thinking is not inbuilt into medical curriculum. It's wonderful. It's in fact for the Toronto convention, we were thinking of getting the design studio from Rotman School in Toronto to do an actual workshop by dividing the attendees into different houses and doing a competition of for innovation by design. That was one of the things. But wonderful ideas, work on it. And I think Dr. Bhatt could probably add a bit more. I don't know if he's planning any merchandise already and memorabilia already, or if not, maybe Teresa, you could take over that part.
I think it's a great idea from Theresa. I've been talking to her for the last few weeks, and she comes up with brilliant ideas, and it's good. She's going to be the future of AKMG. I can tell you right now. Thank you, Theresa.
Teresa, this is Deepu. So actually, that's a good idea regarding the merchandise. It can be also placed in the website for purchase online in an ongoing manner. And we have to kind of figure out the pricing, the bulk orders, and what are the details, whether we can put advertisements in it, or it should be related to just convention or throughout the year, as you said. Regarding the incubator idea, in fact, many of the doctors in AKMG probably have not come out and said what they have. And if you do research on them, they do have other companies, other investments, and not just research or any, just with the MAP Biomedical, they're inventors. They have, we have a big pool of people who can do this. So with the mentorship committee, we have a very comprehensive idea of making the mentorship committee not just for getting helping students get into residencies and they start their career, but also to help early career people in their first 2 years, how to make sure their investments are right and their practice is going well. And also, if they have interest in outside biomedical or other entrepreneurships. Some people, in fact, I have an IT company myself. There are those ideas also can be incorporated into one big umbrella of mentorship committee. That is the goal, but it has just started. So we are in the initial phase of putting the puzzles together. So that is one thing we can all work on it for sure.
Hi, Theresa. It is nice to see you because I've talked to you a couple of times, and Again, I don't want to repeat what they have said, but excellent idea. So it's a matter of now putting it into action and try to work through the initial details and get it all started. We can consider having a booth if you have some products to show at this point or something like that.
I don't have any products that I
No,
can
I
display
know
now,
you
but
right.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind setting up a booth or just being available during the convention to introduce this new
Idea.
wing of AKMG or this new interest group, and really, and as you guys say, like crowdsource ideas and see what the interest is like.
Wonderful. Thank you, Theresa, for bringing that up. And hopefully, we should you should be behind this idea, keep pushing, and then don't let it go by, right? And we may not be coming back to this every day, but you should please pursue this idea with us, and we should all together take this forward.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Anybody else wants to raise anything? New ideas? Questions?
Nigel, let me just add a couple of points what Theresa was alluding to. The main challenge would be sustainability of these ideas, because 1 year we may have a very dynamic president like Subra, and Nigel is coming closely on the heels. But if you don't sustain that, it doesn't become a viable project. So my suggestion is volunteering by people like Theresa should lead us to the formation of a committee for artifacts and mementos. Okay, and that committee should work for at least 3 years, preferably 5 years. Now, one area where you can attract a lot of interest would be an annual diary of AKMG, which has a history of AKMG in the first few pages, some of the landmarks in the growth of the organization, and the projects on the anvil. And this annual diary is almost like the American Express personal diary, can be sold in our convention site. And this year, with almost 350 memberships, which means about 200 copies can be either sold or can be, and we can entice them to buy it. And that becomes an annual event. It's almost like the American College of Physicians mementos. You can buy online, their caps, their bookshelves, and a lot of other things. But eventually it will get into the online sale. But there should be a committee working on it for at least 3 years. Because Theresa may start with all the enthusiasm and commitment, and the next year's person, if he or she doesn't show that kind of an enthusiasm, it will eventually fizzle out. So it's a great idea, which we should sustain by putting enough emphasis on coming out with an AKMG annual diary, which is almost like the American Express diary. It is not only a diary for you to use, but it contains a lot of information about the changing pattern of graduate training programs in USA, the numbers you can use for help, the history of the organization, things like that. Just an idea. But the crux of the matter is sustainability of the idea.